Hi, this is Marcy from 1033 Main Salon and Spa. Today we're going to do something a little bit different than most of the other videos we've posted. Really different from all of the other videos we've posted. I've noticed a trend that's making a little comeback in fashion, street fashion, where people are deconstructing their t-shirts and doing some fun things there. I've done a couple projects with it, and it gives us some fun kind of options to do. If you have some old t-shirts laying around, you can kind of dress them up or play with them, or also people are making scarves out of them, and so I'll talk about that a little bit too. And I'm just going to show you on a project that I'm almost done with. I'm going to do some of the techniques on the sleeves so that you can see them and you can adapt them to other projects as well. So let's get started. I've taken the preliminary step of cutting the hem off of the sleeve. Now this technique I'm going to show you on the sleeve, you can also do at the bottom, and I'll show you some variations. And I want to talk a little bit too about some other options besides wearing it as a t-shirt. You can also get a t-shirt, and it works best in the very large sizes like the extra large in that. If you cut the hem off the bottom and then cut across under the arms, you have a band, and you just stretch that all out like this, and it'll roll in on the sides. And you can actually double loop that up around your neck, and that's what's called an infinity scarf. And that's very popular right now. Another thing you can do is use this fringing technique on both sides of the scarf like that, and leave a body in the middle, and then wear that the same way as the infinity scarf and double loop it around your neck. So those are some options. I've actually done that with one of mine, and then I used tying the fringe together, which I'll talk about in a little bit, around it, and it gave it sort of a lacy effect. But it all starts with this. You cut the hem off, and then take your scissors. Now, if you can find a t-shirt that has no side seams, and you want to work on the bottom or do one of those infinity scarves, that's the best. Of course, on the sleeves we're going to have a seam here. We'll just have to work around that. But you take your scissors, and you're just going to go ahead and cut in all the way up. You want to leave them a little thicker than you want, because then when we stretch them, they're all going to roll in on themselves. And so you want to leave a little bit. And for that lacy technique, I do recommend that you work with an even number of strips. So you want to kind of make sure as you go. I'm cutting through both layers. It saves me a little time and trouble, and I don't mind that a bit. And we're just going to go ahead and cut through. And if you just want it fringed, and I have one shirt that I made that I'm just going to leave it fringed, you can just do this and pull them out when you're ready, and you'll be done. I'm just going to cut a little more here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I also like to kind of stretch them as I go, so I'll probably stop after this one and do a little bit of that. So we're just going ahead, cutting from the bottom up to the seam here. Okay, so I want to show you how to get your fringe rolled in on itself and thin like this. I went ahead and finished cutting, so you wouldn't have to just watch me cutting fringe over here. But I want to show you what you need to do to get it to thin out like that. Is just hold it up here to keep it steady, and take a hold of the end and pull it. And it'll thin out, and the ends will roll in on itself. Whoops. And you end up with that nice skinny fringe. I would recommend cutting about a ½ inch wide on your fringe so that it's not too thin to withstand the pulling. And you just do that all the way around to get the pieces to roll in on yourself. Now, because of the shape of the sleeve, some of them I had to leave a little wider at the top because I didn't have room to cut more at the bottom. But that's fine. It rolls in up there too. Then you just go through and pull your fringe out. If you're doing a scarf with the fringe, you want to leave at least about 3 inches in the middle. And actually, I think it does better if you leave a little more than that. Now, I want to show you the effect I have on the bottom of the shirt here. All I did there was this lacy, this fringing, and now I'm going to show you how to get that lacy look, and I also did it on one of my scarves. And you do want to work in pairs, so that's why I recommend, as you're cutting, to make sure that you're getting an even number, because you're going to work off pairs on this next step. You take 2 adjacent strips and you double knot them. Like that, and just get that knot secure. I'm not great at knots, so. And then you're going to do the same thing with the next pair. And depending how you like to do things, you can go through the whole thing and tie off in pairs like this first, or I tend to like to see it getting done as I go, so I did the next step as soon as I get a pair. The next step, let me pull these others out of the way, is to take the 2 legs that are now next to each other and then just do the same thing and tie those off in a double knot. Pull that tight and you'll get this, and then take another piece, another pair of fringe, and tie them in a knot up higher. And again, you're going to have 2 legs next to each other here. Just tie them together in a double knot. And as you go around, you start to get that look of it being lacy. Another thing I did on one of the scarves, I did this, and then I sewed little beads to the junctures in the lace. Not all of them, just every couple, and it gave it a nice finish. Another option is just to leave it as fringe, which is what I did on this shirt. Just left the fringe down. Then, let me set this aside, I cut open the sleeves, cut off the hem, or actually on this one I wanted to keep some length, so I took the hem out and left the length there. And all I did was cut a slit from the bottom to the seam at the top of the shoulder, gave it all some stretching, and then tied a knot in it. So now you have a little fun sleeve on there as well. So those are just some of the projects you could do with t-shirts. As far as the hems, you could probably even use those as a hairband. If you don't have something else in mind for them, I'll probably try that out. I wanted to show you some of the projects I was able to do with the fringing technique I showed you on the t-shirt, but also I've actually got another project I'm just going to tell you that you can do. But this is the fringe t-shirt here. I don't know if it shows up on my skirt. That's just doing the fringe and then pulling them out and letting them be. But on this, I did the scarf I talked about and fringed it on both sides, and then tied them together and sewed some little beads through it. And so what you do with this is put it on and wrap it around twice. You've got a little scarf accessory, which they're very popular right now. And even you can just cut that band, which is where you cut from here, and cut the bottom off and stretch it out and wear that without fringing it. That's also very popular. And then with the black shirt, you just change out this. With the black shirt, I tied some of the fringes together at the bottom and did the same thing on the sleeves, and that gives you a nice sort of lacy effect. Kind of dresses it up a little bit. There we go. But it's still kind of got a little grunge flavor to it with the t-shirt. You can also cut the necks off and stretch those out, but that's not really my kind of thing, so I didn't. But the lace effect on this is very pretty when you tie the fringes together. I really like that. Another thing that you can do if you have a t-shirt that's too big and you want to bring it down to size, or even maybe nip it in a little at the waist to give it a little more femininity, is cut the sides open. And you'll probably want to do the bottom of the sleeve also if it's too big. And then if you're not handy to sew and reshape it, what you can do is cut little fringes along both sides of the seams and stretch those and double knot them all the way up. And you can actually make it a little smaller through the body of it. And like I said, you can tighten up the arms as well if that's a little too big. So these are just some of the things you can do. We have a little fun if you have a t-shirt that you want to deconstruct and maybe make it something a little more fun. These are some ideas. I know you can grab those ideas and run with them. I know we've got a creative bunch that are on our site. So with a t-shirt and some scissors and a little creativity, you can look great, feel great, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.